So I have owned the Sony A6700 for a year now, and I've made over 40 YouTube videos with it. And that consists of videos for this channel and my mixed engineering channel. I've got a few things to say about the Sony A6700 if you're a new YouTuber or content creator like myself, because I bought this camera for the purpose of making videos for YouTube, and that's what I've used it for ever since. I recently got the Fujifilm X-M5, which I am filming with. I use that one for more casual purposes. Today I'm using it to make a YouTube video. But anyways, if you're trying to get the Sony A6700 and you're thinking if it's a good idea, I decided to make this video and give you my thoughts, a long-term review of the camera after 1 year. So you see what I think. The first thing that anyone talks about when it comes to cameras is the build quality. With the Sony A6700, I cannot say there's anything wrong with the build. The build is perfect. It's really solid, pretty solid. I don't rough handle my cameras. I understand their tools, but I just don't play around with them. And so far so good. It's been great, it's been solid. When it comes to accessories for the Sony A6700, from camera straps to batteries to cages and lenses, there's so many available. So this is just a Sony with an E-mount, and what that means is almost every lens manufacturer on the planet make their lenses for the E-mount. So if you're on the market for extra lenses and you can afford the Sony OEM glass, there's always Sigma, like the 56mm 1.4 right here that I use for taking pictures of humans and close-up objects, you know, really tight focal length, 85mm equivalent on a full frame. So yeah, there's always E-mount lenses for Sony. There's a bunch of straps and whatever accessory you might need. If you go into a Sony system, you don't have any problems or restrictions when it comes to accessories and things to go with the camera. The power is great as well. When we talk about power, you know, the battery on the Sony A6700 is an NPF 100Z, the same thing that goes for every other modern day Sony camera, from the FX3, the FX30, the A7 IV, and all of them other Sony cameras. So the power on this is great, and recently Lano sent me a battery charger that I really like. I'll make a separate video on that. I've got extra batteries for this camera. I can't complain. Power, absolutely great. And then we talk about the beat rates and the codecs. You see, if you're into that kind of thing, you're a filmmaker who really cares about the codecs that you can get. The Sony A6700 shoots H.264, H.265, and the beat rates are very good. Personally, for my use case as a YouTuber making talking head videos talking about gear, cameras, and technology, I don't have any complaints for it. The S-Log3 makes color grading really good for me. I came from a Sony A6500, and it was, I shot in S-Log2 most of the time. It was a 8-bit camera. This is a 10-bit camera. So when it comes to codecs, bit rates, log profile shooting, all of these things, even RAW if you're taking pictures, it's great. Quality-wise, I would say it's wonderful. It's like getting a FX30 in a more hybrid body, in a more portable form factor. So the Sony A6700 is a camera that I think will still do very well in over maybe the next 8 to 10 years. The one thing that I believe every creator should put into consideration when they buy a new camera is future proofing. I think you should consider how long every camera will live with you before you need an upgrade. Like I mentioned before, I came from a Sony A6500. That's a camera that was made in 2016. Right now in 2025, it's 9 years old. And if you ask me, I think it will still be valid for another 10 years or even more. At some point, camera changes and improvements were really massive. So they moved from 720p cameras to 1080 cameras, and then 2K, 4K. Now we've got 6.2K cameras downsampling to 4K, and like the Fujifilm X-M5 shoots in 6.2K. Open gate, we've got cameras that shoot 8K now. However, when you consider that things like smartphones still don't use up to 4K, at least on most smartphones, getting a 4K monitor for your computer setup is a high budget move. 4K TVs are still not low budget, and 8K TVs are sold for the price of a new car. So you gotta understand, with all the capabilities of the Sony A6700, it'll still be valid for another 8 to 10 years. If you don't upgrade for 5 years, you'll be good. If you upgrade, it'll probably just be for a little improvement. Or let's say you're making professional work at that point, you're doing paid gigs, of course you will want to upgrade. But for just content creation, YouTube stuff, social media, I think the Sony A6700 in 2034 will still be usable. There is absolutely no way we can talk about a Sony A6700 or even any Sony camera at all without mentioning the autofocus. The autofocus on the Sony A6700 is god tier. I can't compare it with anything that any other camera company has to offer. Like the Fujifilm X-M5 that I'm shooting this video with right now, the autofocus is meh. It's good, it's all right. It hunts here and there, but this is a beast. If autofocus is what you're after and you're on a budget, you're not trying to get the FX3, the FX30, the A6700 will do the best job you can find on the market right now, from eye tracking, human tracking, birds, animals, planes, trains, you name it. Autofocus on the Sony A6700, perfect. It's next level. I can't stress it enough. That's just what it is. Although there are more things to love about the Sony A6700 than there are to hate, there are still a few things that I wish were different or were better, like the overheating problem that everyone complains about. So if you're making a video that lasts for, let's say, 40 minutes at a stretch, right? This camera will start to overheat like crazy. It'll just shut off, you know? But it also depends if you're indoors or you're outdoors. If you're outdoors and it's cold, it's windy, that's not gonna happen. If you're indoors and the temperature is a little high, it'll go off for sure. So yeah, I do wish the A6700 did something about the overheating, although I'm not going to tell you it's a big problem for me. It's not. I have not really experienced it in my 1 year of using it. It's only been a few times here and there, but it is something to mention. And another thing that might seem picky of me to say is that when I got the Sony A6700, the power button was a little fiddly, I would say. It wasn't as comfortable as the A6500. You see, the A6500 had the power button where every other Sony camera had it, but the 67 changed it. It shifted it slightly to the right, and it still works the same, but it's just not as intuitive as it used to be on the 6500. So yeah, those are the only things that I would say I wish were different on the 6700. It's just the power button and the overheating, that's it. Anyways, I'm heading home now, just holding the camera, riding the bike, and the autofocus on my Fujifilm is tweaking. I can see it jumping left, right, and center. But it's all good.